Hey everybody, Chad here. Welcome to another episode of Law of Attraction Secrets. Did I say that right? Law of Attraction Secrets? For like I just ate. For like my lips are numb. But anyway, I'm in Thailand. So I'm at the beach here. I'm in Patong, or Patong Beach. But anyway, in this episode, we're going to talk about what you put out in the universe always comes back to you. Positive or negative, we have to understand this. This is what we're going to talk about in this episode. But anyway, if you like this video, you think it's crazy, like it below, share it below, and subscribe, of course. But anyway, I'm in Patong again. I'm in Thailand. I'm at the beach. Might be a little bit loud. The lighting might be bad. The sun's glaring on me. I can't find good lighting. But anyway, it's not about me. It's not about you looking at my sexy face or ugly face. It's really about the information here. So what we have to understand is what we put out always comes back to us. We reap what we sow. Makes sense? As we believe, we receive. This all comes from the Bible, of course, but even all spiritual texts, they really say the same thing. You know, just because I might quote the Bible or refer to the Bible, but as we understand spirituality, as we study spirituality, as we study higher consciousness, as we study higher vibrations, you know, most of these concepts, almost all these concepts, go across every single religion. Makes sense? So, you know, there's some, you know, when they go across every single religion, I mean, there's some, you know, there's some truth to it. But anyway, let's kind of get focused here. I'm sitting on these rocks, hotter than shit right now. My butt's on fire. But anyway, what we have to understand is what we put out always comes back. If we put out positive thoughts, positive stuff, positive thoughts will come back to us. If we help other people, okay, you know, help will always come back to us. What we have to understand though, we can't control the how. Okay, I have a lot of videos on this. We can't control the how of how it's going to come to us. This is what I mean. You know, lots of times what happens, most of us are control freaks. Even though we might not look at ourselves as control freaks, but most of us try to control how we receive. And once you try to control it, once you try to control the how, you kind of limit your possibilities of it coming to you because you're so focused on one way it's going to come to you that you limit every other possibility. And the big example of this is, I mean, let's say, you know, I'm helping a friend, and I always help a friend anytime they need help. I help them. Maybe they need money or borrow money, whatever, I give it. Maybe they're moving and I go help them move. You know, maybe I babysit their kids, whatever. You know, I'm always there helping them. And then I'm thinking to myself, well, when I need help, or when Chad needs help, or when I need something, you know, that's the first person I'm gonna call because I help them like once every week, or I help them, you know, once or twice every single month. I'm always helping. Then, you know, I give them a call when I need help, and they don't even have to think about it. You know, first thing is just like, you know, like within like 1 second of thinking, they already say, no, sorry, I can't help you. Then you're scratching your head thinking to yourself, dude, I help you all the time, but you don't help me. And there's two ways to deal with this. This is why we have to be careful. There's two ways to deal with this. One, we can deal with it negative, and I've done my share of that also. We can sit there and say, you know, I help everybody else, but they never help me. I'm gonna stop helping people. I'm just gonna throw in, you know, and that's what most of us do. We just think like, you know what, I'm just gonna help the immediate family. I'm just gonna help my mom and my sister, that's it. And I'm not gonna help anybody else because every time I help somebody, they never help me. And we throw in a towel, you know, and that's the energy we put out. We put out that energy of we get screwed, nobody helps us, we help them, but they don't help us. And that's the energy we put out. If you put out that energy that everybody takes advantage of you, well, what's gonna happen? Makes sense? If we reap what we sow, you know, if I put out, I'm always getting screwed and always getting taken advantage of, well, what do you think's really gonna happen? That energy is gonna flip back at me. And, you know, I'm gonna be taken advantage of and get screwed even more. You know, we have to be careful what we're thinking. We have to be careful what we're feeling. Okay. Now the second way we can deal with this is that we look at it as a law of abundance. We look at it as we know we reap what we sow. Okay, we know as we believe we receive. We know what we put out in the universe comes back to us. It always flips back to us, okay? And when we understand the law of the universe, we understand the laws of nature, we understand the laws of abundance, the second way we can think about this is that, you know, when I'm helping somebody, when I'm helping a friend in this example, I'm helping them, I maybe babysit their kids. If they need to borrow money, I let them borrow money. I don't ask for it back. If they help moving, I go help them move, and so forth and so forth. How you should look at it, how I should look at it too, you know, because I'm human too. I don't always, you know, look at things the right way. Trust me. Is that laws of abundance. If I'm doing good for somebody else, so I expect nothing in return. Okay, that's how your mind frame has to be. You do good for somebody else, you're doing good for somebody else because you want to do good for somebody else. If you don't want to do good for somebody else, then don't do it, because your heart's not in the right place. Make sense? I mean, that's kind of what I tell people. If you don't want to help people, you want to put good out there, then don't do it. Okay? Because your heart has to be in the right place. Okay? That's the first thing. Okay? Now, if my heart's in the right place and I'm doing good, okay, if my heart's right, my mind's right, you know, I'm not going to expect anything in return. I'm just going to help them because I really want to help them. I really want to provide for them. Makes sense? I really want to help them, but they're in need at that time. And, you know, sooner or later, I'm going to be in need, okay? But, or I'm going to want something or need something or need help. We all do at some times, okay? But what we have to understand is, if I help a certain person, like, for example, if I help my friend David, well, the laws of abundance, how the laws of abundance works, when I put out good, good has to come back to me. But, there's a but in this, but it might not come from David. It might not come from my friend David. Okay, I have to understand this. You know, what I have to understand is that I don't control the how. Okay, I just let it be. I let go and let God. Let go and let the universe handle it. Let the universe control the how. Let God control the how. Okay, but all I know from universal law is that I put out good, good has to come back. But I don't know how it's going to come back. I don't know what angle it's going to come back. Okay, so that's your mind frame. That's what I'm going to be thinking. That's what you should be thinking. It might not come from my friend David. Okay, once I focus on David and I think, you know, when I need help, David's going to be my main person to go to. It's David, 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 David. Okay, I'm limiting the supply. I'm limiting the number of ways it can come to me because I'm so focused on one way. Makes sense? I'm so laser focused on one way, and that one way don't work. I start getting more laser focused on it, then I kind of block other ways prosperity, other ways good will come to me. Okay, now that's kind of like let it go, but also, you know, kind of with you reap what you sow. Okay, you know, as you believe you receive, as you put out in the universe, always comes back. You always have to put yourself in that mind frame. You can't look at it as, you know, if I help somebody, I get screwed. You have to really be careful how we emotionally think. Okay, you have to really be careful how we are, you know, thinking or self-talk to ourselves. Okay, especially when we're in these experiences, helping people and stuff like that. So because it could put us, I mean, if we're not careful, it can put us in a negative mind frame. It could put us in a negative thoughts, and if we fester on these thoughts more and more and more, those thoughts are going to come true. Makes sense? But that's just the nature of the beast. That's just the nature of law of attraction. We're going to attract what we pretty much dominantly think about. Makes sense? We dominantly bring emotion to. That's what we're going to think. So, always be mindful. Always be careful. Always think as you put out in the universe. Okay, we have the beach over here. As you put out in the universe, okay, it's always going to come back to you. You put out good. Remember, good has to come back. That's the law. Okay. Okay. It might not come tomorrow. It might not come in an hour. It might not be immediate gratification as what we want. But you have to remind yourself, it's the law. It's the law of the universe. It's a promise. It has to work. Okay. As I put out again, it has to come back. Whatever you put out negative, well, negative has to come back to you. Okay, if you're a type of person that takes advantage of people, guess what? As you put that out, it has to come back to you. Makes sense? As you put out, as you reap, we sow. You know what I mean? If I put out good, good has to come back to me. That's what we have to that's what we have to remind ourselves, not tell ourselves, but remind ourselves. You know, as we put out good, good has to come back. But I can't control the how. Okay? I have to keep the how up to God. I have to keep the how up to the universe. Okay? I have to let go of the how because I don't control the how. All I know is I've done good and good has to come back. Okay? So, kind of, I don't know really the meaning of this video rather than you know, talking about, you know, as we think, you know, we believe, as we put out comes back to us. Then also, you know, just kind of the examples I gave was, you know, as you do good, make sure we don't get in a habit. And I say we because, you know, I can get into this thought process too if I'm not careful. You know, we do good for other people, we help other people. We have to make sure that we're not so focused on that one person, and that's how we think we're going to receive goodness, okay? Because that causes frustration when we focus on one person and we think that's where we're going to receive goodness, okay? We have to give that up and know that just because I help this one person, goodness is going to come to me, that's by law, but it might not come from that one person. It might come from somebody else. It might come from a different entity. It might come from a business or whatever. It might come in a different way than we even expected. But we have to keep that open. We can't control the how. We can't be laser focused on just, you know, one way it's going to come to us because we block all the other ways. But other than that, my friends, I just want to share that with you. Remember, just to kind of recap here, said it over and over and over again, but I think, you know, most of the time, even myself, we need to hear this stuff over and over and over, just because, you know, dude, we're thinking all day long. You know, what are we thinking? I mean, I can just talk about myself. You know, it's so easy to think negative, so easy to get into a negative cycle. You know, and I always think I'm a positive person, but you know, if you're truly just really honest with yourself, you don't have to tell other people. Just honest with yourself, and you start becoming aware, more aware of your thoughts, more aware of what you're thinking throughout the day. You start realizing it's like, fucking shit, like, dude, I'm thinking negative all the time. I'm always thinking pessimistic, or I'm always thinking a little bit negative in a situation. I'm always like role-playing imagination in my head how something might go, but it's more has a negative spin on it. You start becoming aware of that stuff. And awareness is kind of first thing. Once you start becoming aware of your thoughts and aware of what you're doing, then in that moment, we can start changing it. We can start adapting. We can start doing other things, doing exercises and stopping ourselves and having affirmations and start, you know, steering our thoughts in the right direction. And that's why it's so powerful to know, as we think, you will receive. You know, as you put out in the universe, it will flip back at you. What you put out always comes back, sometime or the other. But anyway, just want to share that with you. Not too sure. Oh yeah, it's like been like 13 minutes already. But anyway, I'm in Thailand. Hotter than hell out here. Right now it's like I almost said November. It's December right now. December 7th, something like that. So it's cooled down a little bit. It's still hot, still humid, but not as bad as it was, you know, like in September, October. So December's kind of cooled down a tiny bit. The water is awesome, by the way. I was kind of amazed how warm the ocean was. You're getting in the ocean. It's kind of kind of like really amazed, because I originally from California, so I live in California, where the Pacific Ocean is like an ice bath. So, you know, you never want to get in the Pacific Ocean in California. I know in the movies they make it look like it's hot and, you know, it's comfortable, and you go to Santa Monica Beach and you freeze your ass off. But anyway, it's not like that here. You're sweating. You know, it's nice to kind of hang out here, and you're not cold. And plus, you get in the ocean. It's you know, it's crazy warm. Not crazy warm, but it's really, really comfortable. You're not cold at all, which is nice. But anyway, just want to share that with you, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Hang in there. Stay positive. We both will. Just not you. It's me too. We're both in this together. So it's not just, you know, I struggle with the same things. So other than that, I'll see you in the next video. Take care.